Land yet, but I feel like I'm near Sleepy Time Tea Land. I feel like I'm approaching Sleepy Time Tea Land just a little bit, but I want to draw for a while. I don't want to be in Sleepy Time Tea Land. I always say that, like, I don't even like. Okay, this is the thing about the Sleepy Time tea. Like, I know a lot of people, they think drinking like Sleepy Time tea or like some sort of mint tea will help them fall asleep, but I don't know. Like, occasionally I drink tea, but look, I like coffee. I reused my coffee cup actually from yesterday, my Starbucks cup. I'm just not a big tea fan. I'll drink it here and there, but I drink water or coffee. I don't really drink tea that much. I just don't love it, to be quite frank, I guess. Let's see. I want to find that rose that I was drawing for the rose or part of her outfit. And then that's not the rose I was drawing. Where's the rose I was drawing from the other day? Like, come on, Rose. Where are you? Where are you with your shiny, shiny, shiny coat? I have to go back in the search history and find it. From what day was it? It would have been. Is it this one? I don't know if it was that one. Is it this one? Maybe it's kind of on that one. I think. Okay. I probably should have done StreamYard. So I want to see this here. It's there. No, open. Can't we open you in a new window? Can I be honest? Everybody really loves the fall. And look, there are nice things about the fall. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a summer lady myself. Like, I love summer. I just love summer weather. I just think people are brighter and happier in the summer. I'm just not the biggest fan of fall. Like, okay, yeah. I mean, fall colors are pretty, but after a while, I'm over it. I love like spring and summer bright, beautiful colors. I don't really just always love like a fall palette. Like, let's say you were only supposed to wear like orange, yellow, and brown every day. I would find that incredibly boring. I want to wear those colors once in a while, but I like to wear a variety of colors. Like just today, I'm wearing black, but tomorrow I might want to wear pink or blue. You know, I like to wear any color or be any color or think about any color. So I just find I don't have the biggest enthusiasm for like fall time decor. Like it's pretty. It's beautiful. I'm not hating on it. It's just not my favorite, you know? It's just not my favorite. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Everybody's so like heated about what they like and whatnot. You know, I know I never tell other people what to believe in because I know a lot of people in this world are just very logic driven and they're like, I don't know, atheists or they're pragmatic type people and they don't really believe in a higher power. But I truly believe in God. I believe that God reveals things to us and wants us to see things, and God has a way of protecting us. And I feel like I I'm so happy because I feel like God is really trying to protect me. You know, that's what I've been realizing lately. Like, and I'm not even like saying this like, oh, I'm super religious or anything, but I just feel like I have been protected. And I just feel so grateful for that, you know? So, yeah, I do believe in God. I know that's not always the most popular thing to say these days. Some people are super religious and they talk about it. But I mean, I generally don't talk a lot about like what people believe in or what I believe in all the time. But just one feeling I've been experiencing lately is I just have a lot of gratitude because I feel like I'm always protected and I feel like there's a higher power that looks out for us. I really truly believe that. I do. Like martial law, I do believe that. You know, I kind of do. Like, and I feel like there's always something better on the horizon. I definitely know that. Like, there's better things on the horizon every day. You know, you just have to be open to good opportunities. Like, if you, yeah, I just I just have to reiterate that every day, you know? Does that make any sense? To me, it totally makes sense. If it makes sense to you, you know, share. It's just my truth right now. Like, I really feel that. I feel like God wants us to be protected, and I really appreciate that. I really do. I also keep thinking about like what's happening to those poor young people in Iran that just want to have like the freedom to socialize or to go to a cafe like and not cover their hair and or cover their hair if they want to or dance in public or just little things like that. And it to me it's so profound. It makes me think like sometimes I would always get kind of like upset about things or disappointed about things in life or feel like, oh, this isn't good or that's not good. But that's really a first world problem. Like, look at what's happening to people in Iran. They don't have that option. Like, they just don't have that option. So to me, I know that I just feel like we should appreciate what we have more, you know? Those people, they're dying. They're getting killed fighting for their freedom. And honestly, it kind of has made me like reevaluate a lot of things. Like, people chastise them. They're like, how can you be mean to a respected elder in the community by knocking off his little hat? And look, I don't usually like that kind of stuff. I really don't. But look at how they've treated people in that country, the people in power. They're bullies. They killed Mashi. You know, they killed her because a little bit of hair was showing. Like, they beat her to death. And the people that condone that sort of thing are religious leaders and the security police. And they allowed that to happen. And so, oh no, like a teenager knocked off your turban. Big deal. Knock some guy's turban off. No biggie. I mean, he's going to live. He's going to get in his car and drive away. But she can never go home again. You know, it just makes you reevaluate everything in your life. It really does. Like, when I see those people, it just made me think about everything in my life and how I just don't think there's time on this planet to ever be like annoyed, sad, or disappointed about things that are trivial. Triviality has no meaning to me because honestly, I like to be emotionally consistent and I like to look for things that are elevating and positive. And that's what these people want. They would love to have your first world problems. People in Iran would love to have your first world problems. Like, oh no, like, what do I, like, outfit do I wear when I go out? Like, without being harassed in the streets. You know, I don't know. I've just been thinking about this. Like, we should be very happy for what we have. And do we appreciate it enough? I feel like sometimes no, we don't. And just seeing that, it kind of makes you rethink. It makes you rethink life a lot. It makes me think maybe something good will come out of it all. I want something better to come out of it for them and for everybody because it's just been a sad thing that they've had to go through that. Younger generation didn't want this. They didn't want to be part of that regime. And people have been, like, some people have been saying like really ignorant things on social media, like, oh, well, you know, like everybody in the country wanted the religious regime. No, they didn't. Okay. Look, the whole Shah thing, it's complicated. Like, I don't even think Americans really know much about like how it went down. And I don't know all the details. I've read a few things about it, but what it kind of looks like, just from what I've read and from the interviews with the Shah, what it looks like is around 1977, he was becoming more like wanting to be independent. Like, look, I get it. Like, there probably wasn't a lot of political freedom in the country, and that's why a lot of people did protest. And yes, their police did bad things too. But the thing is, like, you had freedom under the Shah. I'm not trying to like justify it, but you had more latitude of freedom than you do have under the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I, it just, what it looks like happened was, I think the West began to see that the Shah was losing support. He was losing support in the country because of his policies and different things that had been enacted. And it may be, I'm not saying, like, just from things I've read, I'm not saying that the Carter administration, like, 100% supported the, Ayatollah Khomeini, but it looks like from some of what's in the documents and the research is that once the Shah was forced to leave, which they kind of pressured him to do, they kind of were in talks with Khomeini. And some of the talk is they would have been okay because before they knew he was not going to go along with the program, they would have been okay with him being in power over like some sort of communist. And a lot of the young people that were supporting the Ayatollah, they weren't even religious. Like, especially in Tehran, a lot of them were secular. They didn't want an Islamic republic. Like, yeah, some of the religious people wanted that, but there were a lot of secular people that went along with the Ayatollah because, hey, you're, as they say, your enemy is my enemy is my friend kind of thing. I'm saying it wrong. My enemy is your enemy. My enemy is your enemy. Kind of like, oh, we have this common ground. Here's an analogy. It was kind of like the Soviet Union, the US and Britain banding together during World War II to fight the Nazis. But did all these countries agree on policy? Definitely not, especially after World War II. The Soviets and the US had a big falling out, and that's what the Cold War was all about. So, at the end of the day, I know I'm just prattling on. Yeah, like the US has backed other countries, they've backed dictatorships. This is something that a lot of us have been uncomfortable with for a very long time. And there's been a couple of times that they seem to have kind of meddled with who was leader of Iran. So if they could take one away and then put one back in, maybe they could kind of encourage one to leave if he wasn't part of the program anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that look, I don't agree with anything Iran did, like with the embassy. That was horrible. Like, that was a horrible act. But because of that act, and because we've severed ties with Iran, this is the thing that's really scary, is that people have empathy for what's happening to the young people in Iran. But I feel like, are we going to do anything? Are we going to do anything about the fact that those people are being killed and beaten? I don't know. Like, I think that they are going to have to throw Iran out of the UN. Not that I think the UN's a super helpful organization, but I think they're probably going to have to and that's something I'm trying to figure out is, I guess Germany has put a few has kind of condemned what Iran's doing, but there doesn't seem to be the international community banding together to have outcry about what's happening in Iran. They might say a few things about it, but I feel like more could be done. Like, what more could we do? I mean, people want to really get involved in the Ukraine, and I'm not even somebody who likes to get involved, okay? But I don't know. I guess there's really actually, at the end of the day, it's probably better that Iran is left alone to do it, because hopefully their young people can do something and overthrow that regime. Maybe this is a better way that they're resolving it themselves. It's a sticky situation, though. But who on earth voted for them to be in the UN or to be on a UN committee about women's rights? Like, really? Are you kidding? That's embarrassing. That's super embarrassing. Yeah. That they're not saying which countries. The whole thing's embarrassing. I don't know what to tell you guys about this, but yeah, that's just the thing in the news that I think is kind of sad and tragic right now. And I would like there to be a change. And last time when people were protesting, there definitely was a change, remember? I wonder, did I go live? Because I feel like I didn't see it. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely live. I'm just probably on. Yeah, there definitely was a change. The last time they got rid of the Shah and they brought in the Ayatollah. So maybe, hopefully, but I feel like this is the difference this time, where it's going to be harder, is you have the Islamic regime entrenched. They're not going to give up power. These men, these old men, they like being in power. They're power hungry narcissists. They like to go out in the streets and beat up women for, I don't know, showing a tiny bit of hair, or find a man because, oh no, his hair wasn't they harass men too. It's just lame. It's like they are the equivalent of a hall monitor, except this is a deadly hall monitor. It's just really scary. It's very scary. So given what's going on in Iran, how am I in a Western country to complain about my life? I should be very happy that I live the good, and I love being in America. I'm so pro-American, but here's the thing. I think we have the right to question things that our government does in our name. Just like the Iranian people are questioning things that their government does in their name, because governments are supposed to be representative of the people. That's what a true democratic or representative government's about. It's not about like having a dictatorship, although Iran is essentially a dictatorship. We're not perfect by any means. Every country has flaws, but it would be nice if they had more freedom to just do basic human rights, like, oh, what you want to wear, or not to be killed because you're gay. Like, really? But this is the weird plot twist about that is like, oh, but you could be gay as long as you get a sex change operation. And if you're a man, you become a woman and you wear a proper hijab, then it's okay. There was actually an Iranian documentary about that showing how progressive they were because they were very accepting of gay people as long as they got a sex change operation. And you know what happened to a lot of those men that became women after in the Iranian documentary? I watched this a few years back. Some of them got disowned by their family and some of them became prostitutes. I think one guy who became, had the sex change operation, he ended up having a better relationship with his mother, but the guy he was dating didn't want to marry him because he probably didn't want to marry him anyway, but he thought if he caught this operation, he would magically want to marry him. But no, it was very awkward. It was just, it was a guy who basically didn't want to admit he was gay, and he was. And so he was never going to marry that person. Yeah. But it is interesting, though, that actually it seems like Iranians are, in Tehran anyway, it seems like the young people in some ways are more progressive than some people in the US, like in wanting human rights and basic human rights. Like, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of them actually kind of seem that way. It's interesting, really. Like, they're not wanting to pass laws against like who uses certain kinds of birth control. Like, no, they just want freedom to live their lives. The end. Like, in other news, what else is going on in the world? Let's see. Yes, I'm drying a rose to place on this dress. It's going to be part of the dress. So at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying. I think God protects us. Even if, like, I'm not saying this if you don't believe in God, this is not something that you have to adhere to. But for those of us who believe in a higher power, I do believe that God wants us to find a way to, like, just look for a better solution to everything. Because there's always a better solution, there's a better everything. There is a way to just, like, okay, so something bothers you, or like sometimes people get stressed about things, but there's no need, in my opinion, to waste a lot of human life on things like that. Because I recently decided I want to do things I enjoy. Why would I give my time to this, and the other thing, like, that does not serve me? If it doesn't serve me, I don't want it to be my master. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. I don't want anything that doesn't serve me to be my master. I just want to be the master of my own life, the heroine of my own life. Like, that to me is so important. Maybe, I mean, yeah, I just, What? Don't roll away. Stop rolling away. Stop rolling away. Don't roll away. Please don't roll away. Do not touch your eyes. I had been so good about that, not wanting to touch my face. It's something I want to be very cognizant about. Keeping my hands away from my face unless I've washed my face. It's something I really want to be cognizant about. So I'm trying to work on it. So I'm kind of creating this little rose design. Like I want, like the dress that this is based on had little like kind of smaller roses, but I'm kind of making them larger. But I'm kind of making this little rose grow out of this big rose. It's kind of, this is just an organic drawing experience, like sketching experience that I'm having at the moment. And I'm going to thin out the stem on this rose because it's too stocky. It just doesn't look right. Even though I'm just kind of doing this as I go. I want it to look somewhat plausible, even though it's kind of an imaginary rose. But then I want this like little rose kind of be growing out of the bigger rose branch. I love roses. They're so beautiful. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm in sleep time tea land. So I'm going to sign off for a bit. Good night.